Hey, what's going on? Ryan here at Triathlon.com. Doing a quick little live video. You can't see my face right now because we're having web camera difficulties. So hopefully you can hear me. Hopefully this is not a waste of time to me to talk to you about the last minute information for 70.3 Des Moines. I will be racing it with you this Sunday. And I want to go over a few things that are kind of interesting. First and foremost, make sure you are aware of the weather. The weather is looking pretty good. Doesn't look like any rain. It looks like it's going to be warm. I've heard rumblings that it is around 76 degrees in Grays Lake. It is a small body of water and is getting a little bit warm during the day. So I would count on possibly having to not be wetsuit legal. So make sure that you're aware and that you're ready. You've either got a swim skin, or if it's wetsuit optional, you're going to have to swim in the back of the group. So just make sure you're aware of that. Not a problem, not the end of the world. But also be ready. It is going to be a warm race day. So make sure you're ready for a warm day out there. Once it starts getting to, the 75, 80 degrees, it's going to get kind of toasty, and it does get a little humid in there. So the humidity of 43% is not horrible, but you'll feel it a little bit. Especially, it's going to be sunny with few clouds. So the morning should be pretty cool. When you get there, get in the water, get on the bike. It might be a little bit chilly at the beginning, but I don't think it's going to be anything where you're going to need anything extreme as far as clothing or any warming gear or anything like that. But when you're out there on the bike, you'll warm up. Make sure you're taking in those fluids. Make sure you're staying hydrated as much as possible, because when you get off that bike ride, you probably will still be feeling good. But once you start that half marathon, you're running out there, you're running around Grays Lake, you're running through downtown on your loops and everything, you're going to be exposed quite a bit to the sunlight. So that's going to be an opportunity where you're going to lose a lot of water, a lot of sweat. So make sure you're ready for that. Make sure you're hydrated well on the bike. Make sure you're prepared, sunscreen, all that kind of fun stuff. It is looking to be a little bit warmer, I think, than last year. The 2 years ago when they had the first year, it got really warm, really hot, because it's delayed also for the start for a storm. And it was just humid, toasty, and miserable. The year later in 22 was hot, almost 100 degrees. Humidity was crazy. It was just absurd. And then in 23, it was about 75 degrees. It was a perfect race day. I think this year we're going to get a little bit more toasty. So make sure that you're aware. 7.3 Des Moines, that average water temperature, we may be looking at wetsuit optional. Definitely looking warmer than the average air temperature. So make sure you're staying hydrated, that type of thing. The other thing I wanted to point out is the information, the athlete guide is posted, the course is posted, so make sure you're ready, make sure you're aware of all this information. This is their final info cheat sheet. It's great. I printed it out. I have it with me. I want to take it with me. It's got the address of Ironman Village, where to do your packet pickup. It's got the transition area, and it's got parking area, athlete check-in information. So Friday and Saturday you can check in. So make sure you got all that information ready. Make sure you need to check in at Cowles Commons. So that's where you're checking in. So it's downtown, so parking is going to be a little interesting. They got some parking garages, but make sure you know where you're going. If you're staying downtown, it should be fairly easy to get there. I've done both. I've stayed out of town. I've stayed downtown. I definitely prefer staying downtown, so you can walk to the athlete check-in and everything. Because usually they have race day. There will be no shuttles from downtown to Grays Lake. So that is one thing that has changed. Athletes are encouraged to park at Bell Avenue and walk to transition about 0.4 miles. There will be no shuttles from downtown to Grays Lake. Race day shuttles run from Grays Lake to Cowles Commons from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Shuttles also run between Farish area and Grays Lake 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. So if you've got spectators, they will have the opportunity for them to catch a shuttle, but athletes definitely do not plan on catching a shuttle. Plan on getting dropped off or making it down there yourself. You will have to check in your bike the day before the race, so you will not be able to ride your bike down there. So if you're walking from downtown, Cowles Commons area is going to be a little bit of a hike. So definitely find a ride, find a way to get there, and make sure, as far as an athlete goes, you're ready. You're down there ready to go. Transition open is 5, but there'll be no shuttles for the athletes. But then race day shuttles, they'll have it from Grays Lake to Cowles Commons from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. So if your spectators get down there, they'll be able to just shuttle back and forth. Shuttles will also run between the finish area and Grays Lake from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. So if your spectators want to come later, they can get there at 10 a.m., but they cannot get down there before 10 a.m. So if they want to watch you swim, they're going to need to get down there probably pretty early to make sure that they're all ready to see you race. But at the end of the day, the finish line is at Cowles Commons. Your transition area is still at Grays Lake, so they will have a shuttle to get you back to transition area to get all your stuff. And if you park down there at Bell Avenue or whatever, you just load your stuff in and you drive back to wherever you're going. So make sure you know all the information. If you're riding into town and coming into town, or you're late, or you experience a problem, they have this number, 813-422-8625. Make sure that you are communicating if you got any problems, any information you need, checking problems, you're going to be late, flight late, delayed, something or other. Make sure that you call that number, and those are the times that they will be monitoring that number. Post-race, there's bike check-out information, gear checkout, wetsuit rules. Like I said, it is around 76 degrees lately, so if it's above 76.1, below 83.8, wetsuit optional. So make sure you're ready that it could be not wetsuit legal, wetsuit optional. So if you want to wear a wetsuit, you have to start at the end of the line to do the race. So I just want to kind of go over that information. Athlete guide is out there. I've definitely printed it out. I've kind of gone through that in the past. I've also posted on my website. So some of the stuff is good information to have. Some of it's kind of superfluous, just advertising that's really not needed to print off. So I definitely do not print off 58 pages. I went through and I think I printed off a total of like 12 pages. So I have all the schedule information, athlete check-in information, and just random stuff. So as you can see, the advertisement's not a really good thing. Course maps, make sure you know where you're going. Notice the swim start is different than the transition area, so you want to go check in the transition area, and then you're going to have to walk over all the way to the swim start. So make sure that you're aware of that, because that is going to be important to know that from transition to the start area. You need to leave yourself a little bit of time to be able to do that. Race day information, relay info, all that kind of good stuff. Post-race info. Finish line walk. So this is the finish line, this is the little walk, and this is Cow Commons area. So make sure that you know this is where the shuttles will be at to get you back to the transition area so you can get all your stuff, all that kind of good stuff. So this is your swim course, one lap. Transition's right here, but the start is over here. You want to check in all your transition stuff, and you're going to walk all the way around over here to the start area. So make sure you're aware, leave yourself a little bit of time. Notice this is a very zigzaggy course, so make sure that you're comfortable sighting and not sighting the wrong buoys. Red buoys are the turn buoys, so don't sight other buoys. So that's going to be important as well. Swim course information. So this is always good to have the athlete guide. Bike course, 56 miles, one loop, so make sure that you know the course. It is well marked. I have not had any problems in the past, but there are a few loops out there, so you want to make sure that you know where you're going. There's a couple U-turns out there, a couple little zigzaggy areas to make sure that we're getting all 56 miles in, a couple of U-turns in there to make it happen. So make sure that you're ready for that. It's not the end of the world, but it is a semi-challenging bike course. 2,300 feet of elevation gain. It's not a cakewalk, but there are some sections where you can definitely put an arrow and coast for a little bit, or put the power numbers down, whatever you need to do, whatever your training plan is. And then scrolling through, the other important information is the run course, if we can get past all the advertisements. So notice 2 loops. You start at the transition area, and you're doing loops around the Waterworks Park area. You come through here, do a couple U-turns, then you go downtown, do another U-turn, come all the way back. And this is going to be your run section. It looks like they've changed a little bit. Does not look like you are going, as always, follow the course markings, gain of 300 feet. So it's not really a hilly course per se, but around the lake, you're going to be exposed, especially over the bridge. There's very little shade in some of these areas, especially this little part right here. Floor Drive, there's no shade whatsoever. So make sure that you're paying attention. You come through, you do this little loop here, come back through, do a U-turn, come over here, come through, do another U-turn, and then you come back, and make sure that you're paying attention if you're doing multiple loops. If you're not doing multiple loops, it looks like they have changed it while I'm doing this live. I probably should have done a little bit more research. It looks like you got the little loop here to where you do your U-turn to get your miles in. So it looks like you're only running once to downtown. They used to have a U-turn here where you'd run one loop, come back, run another loop, and then come back. So it looks like they're being a little bit generous to us and not making us run right by the finish line to go back and do another loop. So as always, make sure that you know the course. Go out there, make sure you know where you're going, because it looks like 2 and you come back here and you hit 3, you do a little U-turn, and you come through and you hit, let's see, course mile 4, there you go. So actually you go through, you hit 4, you come back and you hit 5, and then it looks like you come over here. Where is mile 6? Nothing like live video to, so yeah, it looks like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, then 11, 12. So what's going to be important is making sure that you're going through and doing the right directions. Looks like there's a little bit of a loop area. So head west, transition, trail, turn left, tunnel, turn drive, lap 2, turn onto Trail, turn right on Meridian Trail to connect to Crowner Trail, Jackson Street Bridge, turn out Fluor Drive, Meridian Trail. So make sure that you understand the course map. Usually they have it marked pretty well, so you're not going out there. Like I said, I think they've changed the course up a little bit. Every year it seems to be a little bit different. They've modified a little bit different. Because transition is down here, it's not at Waterworks Park, so that's a little bit different for them as well. So they've got opportunities to make up other miles, other places. So I'm definitely going to be studying this map a little bit more just to make sure I know and understand the course. Like I said, it's a little bit different than the past, so make sure that you're prepared for that final information right there. Hopefully this video helps you out. If you got any questions like that, put them in the comments. I'll definitely get in there and help where I can. And good luck. We'll see you out there on the race course. Make sure you stay hydrated and stay sunscreened for that run because it's looking to be a little bit warm. Good luck on race day, and we'll see you out there.